Welcome back to Wrestling with Power. Mosley here, Slick Vic over there. I think I said I was going to nix that part of it, but I never did get around to actually doing the voiceover thing. So here we are on this Friday, January 23rd, 2026, episode 24. Slick Vic, how are you?
Well, I don't know about you. I don't know in your part of the world, but it is freaking freezing here, man. It is like minus 7 degrees with like a wind chill that brings it down to like minus 12. So it's damn cold. How about you?
Yeah, we I don't know the exact temp outside right now. If I can even see what that is on my laptop, I don't believe I can. I'm showing 23 degrees and
Wow.
snow, but it's not snowing yet. We're expecting some really bad weather this weekend. Tomorrow, I know between tomorrow and Sunday, we're expecting like upwards of 12, 13, 14 inches of snow, plus freezing rain. So the whole 9 yards. And then Monday, it's supposed to be down at like 0 degrees. So
Yeah.
get your
So,
milk and bread, ladies and gentlemen.
Unlike you, I'm bundled up, man. I'm freezing. It's cold in here. It's cold
Oh,
out here every day.
In my house, I'm not cold at all. But, yeah. Outside, it started to get a little bit chilly earlier today. I actually was wearing a long sleeve with my work shirt over top of it, which is like a polo. But I had my coat, my big coat, with me all day. I didn't put it on until like the last hour that I was out because it started actually getting chilly about that time. But that thing, it's a whole weird thing, Vic, because when I wear that, it works so well, and I retain so much heat that I start to sweat. And then I feel uncomfortable because I'm sweating inside this coat, and if I take it off, as soon as the wind hits me, I freeze to death, so I have to leave it on. So I try not to wear it as much as possible.
Are you familiar with what a cold plunge is?
No. What is that?
A cold plunge is when somebody fills up a tub with just cold water and ice, and then they literally submerge their whole body in there for maybe like a couple minutes.
Yeah, Stone Cold did it. Like a lot of celebrities have videos. Yeah, okay, I got you. Mm-hmm.
I know AJ Styles has put that over to help his body recover as well too. So,
After a workout, you mean? Like good post-workout type deal?
Some people do it after a workout. Some people do it like first thing in the morning. Like they get up, they do a cold plunge. I think it's evolved from taking cold showers to do now a cold plunge.
Well, I can see how that would wake one up and get one ready to go, but also a nice hit of smelling salts would as well. So,
Yeah, I personally prefer energy drinks to wake my ass up.
Yeah, I do the shots. I do the 5-hour energy shots. That's my weapon of choice. But anymore, I've actually been doing one of those in the morning, and then about halfway through the day, I'll drink a Monster.
Yeah, when I know it's going to be a particularly rough morning, I'll keep one of those 5-hour energies next to my nightstand or on my nightstand.
Yeah, yep. I know. I keep them in my work backpack next to my bed, so they're ready to go. But yeah, it's a must-have at this point. Those things are a must-have for me at this point.
Speaking of energy, whatever. Well, I'm sure we'll circle back to this later, but whatever Hawk and Animal are on during those LOD promos, as we'll mention later tonight, I want what they're having.
How did you like that when I sent that to you? Were you expecting that to come eventually? Because I promise I couldn't understand a thing he was saying in that interview at the Rumble. Or not? Was it at the Rumble?
Yeah.
The Rumble, the tag team match at the Rumble. But I'm thinking Hawk and Animal, and for some reason I'm like, wait a second, they weren't in 1998. Yeah, they were. They were at the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, they were part. I think they even made it to 2000. There was LOD 2000.
Yeah.
Yep. It was not a good time, but Hawk and Animal persisted for as long as they could.
I think Hawk was going to commit suicide by jumping off the Titantron.
Oh yeah,
or something like that.
That was around this time we saw the Rumble too, like 98, 99.
that was friggin' weird. I remember watching that on TV
Yeah, that
and being
was.
like, "What is he doing?"
You know, some of this shit has not aged well. Even back
Yeah,
then, like what the hell? I mean, even as a younger fan, I was kind of like, this is weird. This is not entertaining. This is just making me uncomfortable.
I think it was like he was having problems with drugs or alcohol or something of the sort, and they decided to
Yeah,
actually make a storyline out of it,
yeah. Not the
which was
first time
bad
that happened.
taste. Right,
They,
bad,
they
poor
did that.
taste though.
They did that with Jake the Snake. They did that with
Yeah,
Scott Hall. It's,
yeah.
it's it's never really made for good TV, man. I guess it's supposed to be like a redemption arc at the end, but it never really makes that far.
Well, when the dude ODs in real life, it's pretty hard to
Yeah. Luckily
sell that, So
Hawk didn't do that, but they never really followed up on this storyline. And yeah,
well,
we'll circle back to the Road Warriors when we talk about the Royal Rumble. And I'm going to call them the Road Warriors frequently, even though they're billed as LOD when they're in WWF. I'll go back and forth. I know them as both the Road Warriors and Legion of Doom.
yeah. And it's weird how that worked out because a lot of times you'll pretty much call somebody what you're used to them as, like what you watch them more as. But those guys really, I see them as both names, like you do. When I think about
Yeah.
them, I think of both.
And WWE, like when Howard Finkel would announce them coming down the ring, he'd say Road Warrior Hawk and Road Warrior Animal, the Legion of Doom.
Ah, did he do that at the Rumble?
I don't recall.
If he did, I didn't catch it.
I know 100% that he's done that a few times. I'll have to go back, and when we come back to that review, I will for sure know.
Yeah, I'll have to review the play on that one. All right, well,
so-
Slick Vic, we got a few things to get to here tonight. We'll try to get to them and get out of here as quick as possible, but we have modern wrestling to talk about first, which is, always what we do here, even if we really kind of can't wait to get to the old stuff. SmackDown review from January the 16th, Raw review from January the 19th, and then the retro review of the Royal Rumble from 1998. We've been putting this on for the last few weeks and advertising that we're going to be doing another retro review, obviously with the Rumble coming up in a few weeks from now, the 2026 Royal Rumble over in Saudi Arabia. It is only apropos that we do the retro review of a Royal Rumble, and I wanted to do an Attitude Era pay-per-view this time, and I'm glad we picked this one because honestly, when we picked it, I hadn't seen it in so long, I didn't really remember anything specific that happened at all. But after having went back and watched it, there's a lot of really memorable moments throughout this show, particularly in the Rumble match and the main event. And we'll talk about all of that when we get to it, but really not peak Attitude Era, but like when it was first starting to get hot. And there's some really, really good moments in that pay-per-view that are just timeless. And we'll talk about that when we get around to it. But rounding out everything today in the main event of the show is going to be Slick Vic's picks for Saturday night's main event. Of course, Saturday night's main event will be tomorrow on whatever it's on. I guess it's still on Peacock. And so far there's 3 matches, right, Vic? 3 confirmed.
Yes. As of right now, as of this recording, there is only 3 matches.
Yeah. They probably won't add any. I'm always thinking that these Saturday night main events are going to be bigger than they are, and then it's like a super short show, really. I guess because we're used to watching 3 hours of Raw and SmackDown each week. So, but all right, man. Are you ready to jump into some SmackDown?
I am ready.
All right. Well, too bad because I'm going to put you on the spot here, and you right now we got to see what your gimmick is. Do you have one? Because if you do, it's hidden from my view, and
The gimmick is coming. Let's you put me on the
Slick
spot, so
Vic.
unfortunately I don't have the gimmick ready. But after our first break,
all right.
bring it up again. I apologize. Right. You put me on the spot. You called me out, brother, and I didn't have it, so that's on me.
That's not going to work for me, brother. It's not going to work for me. All right, let's go on to the SmackDown review then, Slick Vic, if you would take it away.
All right, SmackDown, as you mentioned, the 16th of January from London, England. We start off with live bagpipe players as Drew McIntyre makes his way to the ring. You know, it reminds me of Roddy Piper. Good stuff. He gets a hero's welcome. He's soaking it in big time, and he says he prayed for it, and it happened. And it sounds like he's going to cut a babyface promo, but nope. He tells the crowd, screw you. If there's one person that Drew McIntyre needs to thank, it's Drew. And the crowd starts chanting, thank you, Drew, which gets a laugh out of me. And Drew says there is a clause in the contract that says Cody does not get a rematch. And this promo overall is good stuff. His promo work has been stellar. And you know what, Mosley, if Drew McIntyre is not considered one of the top 3 promo cutters in WWE at this point, they're just wrong. They are dead wrong.
Agreed.
He's gone toe to toe with CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes, etc. And he delivers, plain and simple.
Yeah, for sure.
So Randy Orton comes out, and are we singing his theme this week? No. Okay.
Nah, well, he already got one from us. It's
okay. The crowd starts chanting RKO after they were singing his theme song, and Drew hilariously takes a step back, and then Randy says he's coming for Drew, and Jacob Fatu comes out and chases Drew McIntyre out, and then The Miz sneaks out and hits Randy with a skull-crushing finale, and that leads us right to our first match, which is Randy Orton versus The Miz in a qualifier match for the Fatal 4-Way. So let me quickly say that this show is composed of 4 qualifier matches where each winner is going to go on to a Fatal 4-Way match at Saturday night's main event, where the winner faces Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship. So, first match, how did that go? Vintage Orton. That's pretty much all it is. He hits his smooth power slam, he hits the back suplexes on the announcer's table, and eventually an RKO for the win. It's, like I said, it's all Orton, short and sweet and to the point. It's nothing we haven't seen a million times, but the crowd really helped this one. It's still a somewhat entertaining watch. All you really need to know is Randy advances. Okay match, but totally skippable unless you want to see Randy do Randy things. And then Drew McIntyre runs into Ilya Dragunov backstage, who says he's coming for him. And the main takeaway here is Drew denying knocking out Jacob Fatu's teeth, and we got ourselves a whodunit, Yeah, a Wyatt 6 VHS video plays. Uncle Howdy says the lantern will find its way home. I will refrain from any silly Zelda jokes this week, but if you've got anything to say about the Wyatt 6's lantern, I'd love to hear it.
About the first question you asked me is the one thing that I don't have anything to say about the lantern, but I hope they find their lantern.
All right,
from one Zelda fan to another, I hope they find it. They're gonna need it.
I think I'm not gonna make any stupid Zelda jokes this week, but anyways. So I'll pause right here. You got any comments or notes on Drew's promo in the opening match?
Well, I did want to say that this is, I believe, the first time that Drew has ever got to walk out in front of a live crowd as WWE champion, and that's something that he's wanted to do for a long time. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Vic. You probably...
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, so he get it, and it was appropriate because he got the bagpipes, he got the pyro, he got the big entrance... He got his flowers, and it was nice to see because there's a lot of people that were really excited that Drew won this title and really thinks he deserves it. And it was interesting to watch because the entire beginning all the way up until he hits the point where he says to the fans, screw you. And then he turns around and says, oh no, this isn't like the bad guy wrestler bit. It was totally the bad guy wrestler bit. That is the exact moment that the bad guy wrestler bit started. Everything up to that was like him getting his flowers, and it was really cool. It was really nice to see, and I'm sure that he it's probably the best moment of his career. I would say one of. The match with Randy Orton, same. You know, the right guy won that one for sure. It's like you said, if you want to see Randy RKO somebody and pin him, you can watch it. Otherwise, Randy Orton won everybody. Spoiler alert.
All right,
Moving
so
on.
we move on to a very strange backstage segment with Charlotte and Alexa. Alexa questions Charlotte's sickness, which Charlotte was gone last week claiming she was sick. Charlotte gets defensive and assures her she was indeed sick. And then Charlotte says she has turned down a bunch of title opportunities because she put the team first. I'm like, when? What? How? When was she offered title opportunities? I know she's Charlotte. She can walk into any main event she wants, but
Never. Not during this run. No, she did. Nobody ever gave her a title opportunity during all of this.
So Alexa walks out, and then in walks Nia Jax and Lash, who taunt Charlotte. Boring. First of all, why the hell did Alexa walk away and right when the heels walked in? Anyways, I'm trying to make too much sense of this promo, but it was just it was just weird to me. All right, we followed up with a match. We've got Julia and Kiana James tagging with each other to face Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. So Charlotte and Alexa have been doing this tag team move where Charlotte lifts up Alexa so she can kick their opponents. Joe Tess asks Corey Graves, "You mean to tell me that's not friendship or teamwork?" And Corey, with the call of the night, says, "Nope, it's called you get stuck watching Dancing with the Stars on the flight over and decided to reenact it to try to convince the schlubs in the crowd." I got a big kick out of that one. Charlotte got the hot tag and chopping the heels. Now, with her chopping, and there's no sound of impact, it just doesn't hit as good as when Rick or Gunther does it. And those kicks to the head that Julia hit on Charlotte look stiff as hell. Sister Abigail and James gets the win for Alexa and Charlotte. Post-match, Nia Jax and Lash come out and get a few shots at the baby faces, but then Julia gets in Nia's face and has to be held back. That was the best part of this whole segment, because the match itself was very run-of-the-mill. And I noticed that Kiana James was in it for the most part, probably to keep the heat on Julia. But you're not missing much if you skip this. At least that's how I felt about this. So what are your thoughts on Julia and Kiana versus our baby faces?
I mean, same. You're really not missing. And I like Julia, so me personally, I'm a fan of her. So I like seeing her. And I like seeing her out there. And I like seeing her do things that were different than she was doing before. And you can, like, notice things that she's trying to do differently and improve upon. And that's cool for me. But if I wasn't a fan of hers, this is a bathroom break right here.
All right. Number one or number two?
Well, you go for a number one, but you see what, it depends on how it goes when you get there.
I've been there, Sometimes I'm just standing there and I'm like, oh, you know what? Actually, let me
You're about 3/4 of the way through a number one, and all of a sudden you're like, yep, I'm going to be here a minute.
Okay. Solo Sikoa in a video package says he's taking care of the Lantern, but if the Wyatt Six want it, they have to put the tag team titles on the line. Any more Lantern jokes come to mind or anything? I am gonna beat this dead horse to the ground with these Lantern jokes, man. It's the magic lantern, man. You can't get through Hyrule without it. Anyways, Cody Rhodes comes out, and the crowd sings his theme. The crowd is very mixed on Cody. They go from chanting Cody to chanting for Drew, but as Cody goes through his promo, the crowd in England turns more and more against Cody. And Cody even smiles about it. Then he name drops some local UK independent promotions, says England deserves a WrestleMania, which gets a huge pop, and announces he's entering the Royal Rumble. Good way to win the crowd back.
I thought it was a cheap way to win the crowd back.
Well,
that was an easy... Hey. I mean, Cody could have done better here, I think, if he wanted to try to win the crowd back, or just don't win them back. But You guys deserve a WrestleMania. Yeah, they've been saying that for years. There's cheap heat, and then there's cheap, well, whatever the other opposite of heat is. So I think that's what we got.
Well, yeah, I mean, good on Cody
Cheap
for not
pop.
standing there just letting the booze rain on in him.
Cheap pop. That's the Mick Foley cheap pop. Right here in Brooklyn, New York, or whatever he was saying.
All right. As I mentioned, he turned his attention to Jacob Fatu and tells him he's got the biggest receipt coming for him. And then Matt Cardona's backstage cuts a great promo about how, just like Drew and Cody, he's had to leave and reinvent himself somewhere else in order to come back. But unlike Drew and Cody, he's never been world champion. Yet. Very good stuff from Matt here. And that leads us to Trick Williams versus Matt Cardona in a qualifier match for the Fatal 4-Way. Now, I just noticed they got rid of the woo, woo, woo from the entrance to Matt's theme song. I guess, I know that was a Zack Ryder thing, but I could have sworn, like the first or one or two entrances, Matt still had the woo, woo, woo coming into the ring.
Well, he did. When he first came back during the Cena tour, and he was still billed as Zack Ryder, he had the woo, woo, woo entrance. Then when he came back after he had actually signed his contract, they started out with the Zack Ryder Titantron and woo 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 thing, and then it went black, and then it came up and said Matt Cardona. And I couldn't figure out what it says at the beginning of his at the time, but now I know it's always ready.
Yeah.
So there you go. I pay attention sometimes.
Tell me something, Mosley. Do you got your lemon pepper steppers?
Oh yeah, I love lemon pepper chicken.
I still need to get some lemon pepper. Lemon pepper chicken's great. Anyways,
Every time we talk about it, I want some lemon pepper chicken so bad. It's so good.
What's the local chicken wing spot for you? Do you guys have a wing stop or a Buffalo Wild Wings?
Not extremely local, but within an hour away, I would say. Yeah. But I don't go there a lot. We don't go there a lot. I'm a big fan of buffalo wings, but nobody else in my house is. Like, they'll eat like honey barbecue or something. And I feel like that's just not as powerful as buffalo.
Bone in or traditional? I'm sorry, traditional or bone out?
Bone out. Bone out. I'll eat bone in, but I don't prefer it.
I'll eat both easily. No problems either way. But I find bone out easier to dip into sauce. It's ranch or buffalo sauce or garlic, whatever.
I feel like a noob whenever I eat bone-in wings taste better, without a doubt. The chicken is better in a bone-in wing. But I feel like a noob. I've been eating them my whole life, and I still just can't eat all the meat off of one. Like, I've seen people take them and eat them, and they're like dry when they get done with them. I'll leave all kinds of shit on mine. Like, enough for another person to probably make a meal out of.
I'll try my best to pick it clean, but I'm inevitably going to leave some on. I see people take one bite and they just rip the whole meat off the chicken
suck
in one
the whole
bite.
thing. Yeah, it's like the Melina MK2 fatality. Do you like buffalo?
Hell yeah, I do.
All right, good
Love
deal.
buffalo.
All right, I'm glad you can agree on that.
All right, Corey says if Joe got some lemon pepper steppers, he would look like Pee Wee Herman dancing on a bar. By the way, Pee Wee's Big Adventure, great movie. Early in the
Putting over Pee Wee.
We're not talking about this match at all, are we?
Great movie.
Early in the match, Matt hits a drop kick from the apron to the floor that looked like it hurt both men. I don't think I've ever seen that bump before. That was pretty good. Trick hits a decent Harlem sidekick, similar to what Booker T used to do, and does a capoeira kick. Have you ever played as Eddie in the Tekken fighting games?
I'm not real. No, I could go into this. I'll just say I've never really been a big fan of Tekken. I was never really exposed to Tekken much. To be honest with you, the most exposure I had to Tekken, they came out with a game in the 360 era that was Street Fighter Cross Tekken. You remember that?
I remember that game.
And they were supposed to do Tekken Cross Street Fighter, never happened. But no, that's the extent. Basically, the extent of my Tekken exposure was Tekken characters in the Street Fighter game.
All right. So, I've sidetracked a lot in this match, but, All I can say is this was just another
We got to
run of the mill
jazz it up.
match.
Yeah, we got to jazz it up because there wasn't nothing to it.
Trick Williams goes over with the trick shot to advance. Post match, Kit Wilson comes out, pearls and all. His theme song has kind of gone viral, and he hits a cheap shot on Cardona and calls him toxic, and he gets cheered as he does it, which is expected. He's also from England. And then we hold on. Let me any quick thoughts, because I know we veered a lot off this match, but I know you're not a Trick Williams fan, but go ahead and lay it on me.
Well, man, it's not that I'm not necessarily. I'm not a fan, but I don't hate the guy. I'm just not a fan of him yet. But I wanted to see Matt Cardona win this, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in saying that, especially after he cut that promo backstage. Obviously, and I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction, nobody that wins this Fatal 4-Way is going to win the title. So I don't think it matters who goes on to the Fatal 4-Way necessarily, and I think that Cardona could have benefited from getting this win more than Trick. That's my thoughts.
What do you think? Any thoughts on Kit Wilson?
No. I don't understand why he's over. I've been seeing a lot of things online lately, like where he's apparently super over. I don't know why. I haven't figured it out yet.
I mentioned earlier his theme song has apparently gone viral.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the biggest part of it. He was getting cheered big here because he's also from England. I don't we'll see how it fares next week, if the American crowds are still are singing his theme song or vibing to it. We'll find out. All right, we cut to Damian Priest, who says he's going to do whatever it takes to beat Solo Sikoa tonight. We cut back to Kit Wilson, who's still in the ring, and he says he's got the tonic to toxic masculinity. And then Jacob Fatu comes out and tears him apart. Grabs the mic, calls out Cody Rhodes. Cody comes out, and they have a brief scuffle before it's broken up, and it's official. Jacob Fatu versus Cody Rhodes at Saturday night's main event. Now, we have Solo Sikoa versus Damian Priest, another qualifier match. And Solo comes out with the MFT and the lantern. I'm not going to talk about the lantern. The match was... I want the damn lantern, damn it! The match was better than the previous matches. These two went back and forth and traded some big strikes. They told a decent story of Priest being outnumbered against the MFT. Tala Tonga gets ejected for interfering when he was just checking his watch. I mean, how do you get ejected for just checking your watch? It's, they get 3 watches. It's Three Stooges anyway.
Shenanigans.
Priest hits a good razor's edge. Solo hits a good splash from the top. Tama Tonga gets a shot in, and the crowd is chanting, yeah, 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 yeah. The Wyatt 6 even the odds, which was a good touch. And then post-match, it looks like Uncle Howdy. I should say that Priest went over with the South of Heaven chokeslam. And post-match, it looks like Uncle Howdy is going to reclaim the lantern. But Tala Tonga comes back, boots him in the face, and gives it back to Solo. Not a classic or anything, but by far the best match of the night. I enjoyed it immensely. Any thoughts on any thoughts on this match here?
Well, yeah, it was a great match. I struggle to say anything because is the lantern a banned word at this point? Can we no longer talk about the lantern?
No, actually, I've been begging you to talk about the lantern. I've been queuing you up, teeing you off to tell me about the lantern, but you've
the lantern. The lantern is one of those things. It's just like the Ula Fala. It's just like the Rolex from Dusty. It's just one of those things, like a stand-in prop that they're using to try to make this important. It was a great match. I think they missed the mark on this. I think they missed it. I think that maybe a couple of months ago when they first started teasing this feud would have been perfect. It would have fit at that time. I think they took too long to get around to this. And I'm, for some reason, just not as into it as I would have been before. So.
Okay.
You smell what I'm stepping in? Do you smell what I'm stepping in?
I can smell it. Yeah, it's the Drew McIntyre taunts Sammy as he's going to the ring for his match. Sammy says he will win tonight at Saturday night's main event. Drew reminds Sammy that he's 11-0 against Sammy. 11-0. Man.
Wow.
Talk about having somebody's number. Anyways, Carmelo Hayes is going to do the U.S. Open Challenge, and it is answered by Leon Slater. Spoiler alert, kids. I kind of knew the TNA wrestler was not going to win the WWE Championship tonight, but nonetheless, these two put on a really fun athletic display. And I can't believe they didn't do the springboard Spanish fly on the air. That was a good thing for replays. I've said it before, that tilt-to-whirl facebuster that Carmelo does is great. The suplex cutter he hit afterwards looked good too. Vicious looking Hurricane Rana from Slater into a pin, but only for 2, and that Swanton 450 always looks impressive, even if he misses it. Mello hits a top rope suplex cutter for the win. This was probably the funnest match of the night. Like I said earlier, they put on a really fun showcase with their respective offense, and it worked just fine here. It was, never mind. All right. Backstage, Shinsuke Nakamura was watching the match on screen and is confronted by Tama Tonga, who brings up their history, I guess in Japan, but says he is next and to stay out of his way. And Nakamura responds in Japanese without subtitles.
So what did he say?
I was going to ask you, you know what he told? You know what he said, right? Why don't you translate it for me?
I don't know, man. I bought a book on how to learn Japanese, and I never even read it. So I'm not there yet. Give me some time.
Okay, all right. We'll get this, man. I want to go to Tokyo one day. I really, really do want to go to Tokyo.
Yeah, I do too. I really do. It's one of my dream destinations to go to Japan.
Yeah. Axiom gives Johnny Gargano a fair chance to just hand over the mask, which he doesn't. And then another Axiom shows up, and they both beat up Gargano. The other Axiom is revealed to be Nathan Frazier, who says him and Gargano have a match next week. All right. And now we have another match. We've got Chelsea Green versus Jordan Grace. I'm going to start off by saying I like Chelsea's Ghostbusters 2 inspired ring gear, because that's a very underrated sequel. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been a while, but yeah, absolutely. I loved the Ghostbusters when I was a kid, or so my parents tell me. I was apparently a big fan when I was like very small.
It's definitely worth revisiting, even the second one. Anyways, Jordan hits a delayed suplex, a leg hook suplex, and the direct effect for a win in a squash match. Post-match, nice. She calls out Jade Cargill, who's been sitting ringside. Jade gets on the apron, but Chelsea, aiming for Jordan, hits Jade instead with the belt. All right, so I'm just going to say I'm not a fan, but I'm going to keep it civil. What do you what do you think, man? Any musings on Carmelo Hayes and Leon Slater or Chelsea Green and Jordan Grace?
I mean, nothing that I haven't said before about Jordan Grace. I think it's interesting that Chelsea nailed Jade with the belt here, as you mentioned, because Jade would absolutely like tear her in half. Is that going to happen? Did that set? I don't remember. What did that lead to when she hit her with the belt? Nothing?
Nothing. I mean, that was it. I think
Boo.
Chelsea pouted and then left.
Oh, well, that sucks. But, yeah, nothing about the match in particular. And I am a big fan of Jordan Grace. As I've said before, I won't beat a dead horse here.
Trick Williams says he's money. Damian Priest shows up and challenges Trick to a match next Friday. Okay. Ilya Dragunov versus Sami Zayn in a fatal four-way qualifier match. Now, these two beat the hell out of each other. I should say they chopped the hell out of each other. I especially like Ilya's high-low chop combo. That was cool. This was a pretty... Yeah. This was a pretty good. This was a pretty good match. The counter after counter sequence in the middle was good stuff, and I felt like they were doing it to try to earn the title and not just a game of one-upsmanship. I should say earn the win. And the Constantine special here looked fantastic. And thank Odin, Ilya ducked the Helluva kick after hitting those 3 corner clotheslines, because we all knew Sammy was gonna try to hit it. And I was getting ready to roll my eyes when I saw when I saw that it was gonna happen, but thank God he ducked. You know what I'm talking about? The 3 clotheslines. Sammy oversells them, and then he's gonna hit, I guess, another. I think he hits 2 clotheslines, and then the third one, Sammy cuts him off with a Helluva kick, which we've seen a bunch of times, and I'm like, oh, good. Thank Odin. Torpedo Moscow on the apron was a good touch, and overall, good match. I just wish it was a little more back and forth, which seems to be the case with a lot of Sammy's matches, where he takes the brunt of the offense from his opponents and then hits a counter into the Helluva kick to win. Still a good match, though. I think I mentioned earlier that this was a back and forth match. I strike that comment from my review here because I remember now that Sammy was in, or I should say Ilya was on offense for like 80% of the match. Thus concludes SmackDown. Anyways, did you think this was a hard-hitting, fast-paced, awesome match, or did you think it was the shits?
I'm somewhere in between. I did not think it was the shits, but you're right, man. This is a typical Sami Zayn match, and you know what the problem is? He's not a heel. I've said it before a million times. He needs to be a heel. He needs to turn heel. I'm not the only one who is sick of this underdog Sami Zayn good guy bullshit where he gets beat to death and then he somehow beats the other guy. I would have rather saw Ilya Dragunov win this match, because then that would have gave Sami some more incentive to turn heel, which I think he needs to do. And I think that at some point it's going to be inevitable. And so I did not enjoy the ending of this match. I thought they went the wrong way with it. But it is what it is.
You mean to tell me you didn't think Sammy was going to win?
It's not that I didn't think Sammy was going to win. I think everybody pretty much knew Sammy was going to win this one, but I just didn't. I would not have preferred it to go that way. I would have rather, it went the other way. Because, I mean, look at the lineup now. You know, that's the end of SmackDown, like you said, and we've got our Fatal 4-Way. Are there any surprises in this Fatal 4-Way at all? Who won these matches?
Only because the location pretty much gives away the winner, I think. The location of where Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I mean, there's no surprises here. I mean, you might say Trick Williams, but no, that's not a surprise, because if Matt Cardona had won, then he would have been a surprise. So either way that went, it was going to be up in the air. The rest of it, it's like a gimme. I would have rather seen Ilya win, especially after having the U.S. title for so long. I don't know. I would have booked it differently.
I think you can deduce where or who I'm going to pick in my Slick Vic's picks later for the Fatal 4-Way tonight.
Yeah, I smelled that deuce.
Well, as I mentioned, that concludes Raw.
SmackDown.
Does thou wish to continue with Raw, or does thou wish to taketh thine break?
I'm good with either, Vic. What do you want to do, man?
Let's do this.
Which one? You want to go straight into Raw?
Yeah. Let's go right into Raw, man.
All right, let's go into Raw. Raw from January the 19th, 2026, just a mere few days ago, in Belfast, Ireland. Show starts with Gunther coming out declaring for the Royal Rumble. So I think that, just like, what was it? What was the last PLE, the last big PLE that they...
Saturday night's main event with John Cena's last match? Or are you talking about the major one? Then it would be Survivor Series.
Yeah, Survivor Series. Remember how Survivor Series, they hadn't made any matches until like 2 weeks before the thing? We're getting the same thing here for the Rumble, and I don't like it. I think it sucks, but here we go. So Gunther declares for the Rumble. AJ comes out and challenges Gunther to a match at the Rumble, but Gunther turns him down, says he doesn't want to pull double duty. I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to either. But AJ keeps provoking Gunther, keeps poking at him, telling him he lost the match because he showed mercy last week when he should have ripped his leg off and beat him with the bloody end, Quan Chi MK4 fatality style.
Yes,
and that
so
Gunther,
glad you said
and that Gunther was the one who tapped out like a little bitch. Gunther finally tells AJ he will give him the match if Styles puts his career on the line. And that's pretty much as far as it goes until the next segment, which is Maxine backstage preparing to go out for IC title rematch against Becky Lynch. And we see Natalya show up, saying she's going to go out there with Maxine to make sure no shenanigans happen like they did last time. So you know something's up. Something's amiss here. Any comment on these segments before we go into that women's title match?
Well, they didn't mute AJ saying bitch, which was really good, really a welcome change because they've been muting Gunther and Jade whenever they said bitch.
I think that's in post, though, when they do that.
I watched this. I did not watch this one live, and I was like, oh, they kept bitch.
So they didn't edit it out later. Okay.
No, they didn't. I mean,
cool.
I mean, it might be now, but as of when I watched it, which was not live, you know, because this was for us in the States, this was a morning show.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Points were made.
Anyways, we knew 2026 was going to be AJ's last year, but is it going to be over this soon? Really?
I've heard rumors. I've heard rumors that Rumble might be it for him. I don't think so.
And could they have made it any more obvious that Natalya was going to turn heel?
Exactly. I like I said, I knew something was up, and I'm pretty sure a few weeks ago I said I wanted that to happen, but we'll get to the match and reveal the contents of what happened, the fallout here, but yeah.
But that doesn't bother me because it gives Maxine something to do after this feud with Becky. So
cool. Yeah. All right, so let's go on to the match. Women's Intercontinental Championship, the champion Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree with Natalya ringside. My first notes on this, Vic. 4 words. Not a good match. Maxine was throwing a lot of weak offense at Becky. Becky was selling it anyway. Especially the end spot. I mean, this match was just garbage, dude, to be honest with you. I can't save it. I can't sugarcoat it whatsoever. The end spot. Did you catch that? Becky runs into an exposed turnbuckle. Like Becky had she ripped the turnbuckle pad off. They did some more stuff. Then she runs into the turnbuckle, and Maxine follows up with a spinning heel kick that did not even come close to touching Becky.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was bad. So, and this was the finish. This was like the move to finish the deal. So Maxine follows up with a spinning heel kick, goes for the pin, and Natalya puts Becky's foot on the bottom rope to prevent the fall. So there's your turn. Maxine Dupree then eats a manhandle slam, and Becky retains the title. Post-match, Natalya hits the ring and beats down Maxine. So, we have Natalya now, I guess, frustrated with Maxine, probably over losing the championship, probably over the same reasons that I'm frustrated with Maxine, and that she is still weak as water. The aggression did not come out the way that I thought it would. Maybe they're going to put her in a feud with Natalya to bring that out further. I don't know. But as I mentioned before, I wanted to see Natalya come back and go after the title herself and win the title. And then have Maxine versus Natalya. But now it's, yeah. I mean, there's some story behind it. There's some backstory here, so there's something to go off of. But I don't think Becky needs that championship, and I think it would have been better suited for, Becky to lose it to... If Becky was going to win it off Maxine, I think Natalya should have came back and won it off Becky. and then had the feud with Maxine. So, your thoughts, Vic?
I didn't hate the match as much as you did, but this was definitely the worst of the trilogy between Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch. As we sensed the heel turn as we mentioned, but I gotta give props to Becky and WWE's production team for elevating Maxine Dupree. She is getting better, little by little. She is getting better. I think if she tightened up her timing and she looked more fluid she would look more fluid in the ring. That beat down at the end was just too long too.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't garner more heat for Natalya. It just made me think, all right, hurry the hell up and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Maxine just isn't as good as she should be at this point. And I think that even she knows that, because I think if she was more aggressive, she would make more mistakes. And she would probably really hit people, and she would, probably botch a lot of stuff. And I think that's why she comes across as being weak and missing these kicks and doing stuff like this, because I think she's honestly afraid to dial it in, or it's just not tight enough, or I don't, that's my take from it, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where it goes from here. Anyway, backstage, Adam Pearce pleads for AJ Styles to consider turning down Gunther's challenge. Styles says he's going to call and talk to his wife about it. And then we have Paul Heyman show up, and Pearce and Heyman exchange words. Pearce says he will be ringside for the Vision's 6-man tag team match as well. The New Day get put in a fatal 4-way number 1 contenders match for the World Tag Team Championships next week. And then we're on to our next match. 6-man... Hold on, I scrolled. Okay, 6-man tag team match. The Vision, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Austin Theory versus Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, and Penta. So, as I said just a moment ago in that backstage segment, Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce are ringside for this. Thought it was a good match. Everyone showed up. Everyone did really well. Going into the finish, Penta hit the Penta driver on Theory, and it looked like it almost broke his neck. It looked like Theory just didn't tuck quick enough or something, but it looked like it almost ended bad for Mr. Austin Theory there. Heyman and Pearce are arguing up on the apron while Logan tosses the brass knuckles to Theory. The ref catches this and snatches the brass knuckles from Theory. Then Pearce ends up with him. Then he drops him as him and Heyman are arguing up the ramp. And somehow Rey Mysterio ends up with him and uses him to knock out Logan Paul. Then Penta hits the Mexican Destroyer on Austin Theory and picks up the win. All right. Any thoughts, Vic?
A really fun match. I got a chuckle with Heyman and Pearce's involvement. I like the strut off. Monday Night Penta is still the best highlights of the night. Good heel work from the heels when they were cutting the ring in half with those quick tags. I enjoyed that. The triple drop kicks were awesome. The triple moonsaults were even cooler. And that end sequence with the brass knucks was great. Fun stuff.
Yeah. I lost sight of the brass knucks. I was like, where did they go? How did this guy get them? What was going on? I will say, though, as a side note, in this match, and I mentioned, everybody did great. Everybody did really well. But for some reason, in this match, Rey Mysterio stood out to me. Watching him, I was like, man, this guy has not missed a beat. This guy is just as good now as he was a decade ago, as he was 2 decades ago. It's crazy. He really is incredible.
He's probably like the oldest wrestler on the roster, too.
Yeah. I guarantee that as far as like people who have been put into the Hall of Fame and then wrestled matches, he's probably wrestled more than any of the other Hall of Famers post Hall of Fame induction.
At least still in the WWE.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Well, yeah.
Some of them still go on to make appearances in the independent circuit.
Yeah.
I think Greg the Hammer Valentine is still wrestling somewhere.
Oh my God. I got to see that. I got to get out and see that. That reminds me of something actually, Slick Vic. I'm not sure when it is, but the Lexington Comic Con is coming up, and guess who's going to be there? The
Who?
big red machine, Kane.
That's gotta be Kane.
I want to walk up to him and be like, "That's gotta be Kane." I don't have anything for him to sign, though. I don't have any Kane swag for him to sign. I want to get something and go just so I can talk to him.
I'm sure he's selling masks. You can have him sign a
Yeah,
mask.
fuck that. Yeah, I don't want to buy a mask from him. I should take my Jim Cornette figure and get him to sign that.
Okay.
Do you think that would make sense?
No, and
Wait, I have I have my title belt. I could take my title belt and get him to sign that, couldn't I?
I mean,
Get him to sign the back of it.
I mean, I remember him being a champion for 24 hours in '98.
Yeah. First Blood versus Austin, and then he lost it the very next night.
Yeah, I don't know if has he won it since? Has he had multiple world title reigns?
He won the World Heavyweight Championship, but he never actually won the WWE Championship again. He was ECW champion for whatever that count. That doesn't count. And then he was World Heavyweight Champion during the Unmasked. Whenever it was like they had both titles, but it was clear which one was more important at the time. At the time, the World Heavyweight was not the more important one, and he won it. Maybe a couple of times, but I know at least once he won it then. But the big one, he's only won one time. Oh, shit.
Knocked over the champ.
Knocked over Travel Dad. All right, there we go. All right, so, moving on. Oh... Backstage, Heyman and Pierce are still arguing. Heyman tells Pierce to take the call coming in on Pierce's phone. And he does. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley come out and announce they are entering the Women's Royal Rumble match. Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez come out and run their mouths on the Women's Tag Champions, saying they're going to take the titles this Saturday at Saturday night's main event. Raquel shows up in the Judgment Day beatdown Rio. Yeah, there you go. Rhea and Io. Alright, then we have another match, apparently, I guess. I don't really know what happened here, but apparently it was El Grande Americano versus Javon Evans, and we come back from a commercial break to find that Javon Evans is hurt, and the match is stopped due to injury, and Americano is granted the victory. What the fuck happened here, Slick Vic? Do you know at all, like, what was going on?
When I watched that live, or when I should say when I came around to watching it, I could have sworn Javon was clutching his chest like
He
this
was,
a lot.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, did he tear his pec or something with his rotator cuff or shoulder? But then I read online that it was a possible concussion, and that's all I read was possible concussion.
Yeah. So
also. Did you skip a CM Punk promo?
Yeah, I did. The backstage promo with CM Punk.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Well, I skipped it. I just, I literally skipped it. I literally fast forwarded through it on the show. I'm like, this isn't going to be important. Let's just get on to it. You got notes?
Well,
let's hear them.
He said it was. They're in Ireland. This is an away game. It's double overtime, but he's here to prove that he's the best in the world, not just the best in the U.S. I thought it was a good one, short and sweet.
All right, cool.
Yeah. And who called Adam Pearce?
Nobody knows, do they? Vince McMahon.
Yeah. I guess we'll find it next week. Maybe it'll be Seth freaking Rollins. No, it won't be Seth.
No, it'll be like, it was me. It was me all along. He'll come out. Can you imagine the pop Vince would get if he did that?
Yeah, I mean it would be a large pop. Then it would be like, oh wow, Vince is here.
Who called Adam Pearce? It was me. It was me all along. Yeah, and then he's the new head of the Vision. That'd be great. See, they just don't do things like they used to, Slick Vic. They need us booking for them. This is why they need us. Going forward from that... Sorry.
I was going to say, the only thing I was going to say was that whole It's Me Austin bit, while hilarious and meme-worthy, it was a really stupid creative decision.
Oh, dude. And I was literally full on invested 115% in WWF at that time. And remember just being like, oh my God, who could it be? Who could be more powerful than The Undertaker? Who could be over The Undertaker? Is it going to be like fucking Satan? They're going to come out and he's going to have horns and he's a monster and it's going to be somebody crazy. And no, it was just Vince
power.
McMahon. Yeah, the higher power, and it was Vince.
Yeah.
Fucking Vince.
Yeah. They booked themselves into a corner, and it's me, Austin.
I guess there was nothing but, I mean, he is the biggest heel ever, so maybe they did the right thing. Who knows? All right, so after the El Grande Americano win due to injury, we have the Vision running into Adam Pearce backstage, and Pearce asks Heyman to have Braun Breaker here next week so they can try to iron things out. And Heyman antagonizes Pearce, saying he had a change of heart thanks to that phone call he got. The Vision walks away. AJ Styles walks in, says he talked to his wife and that his wife wants him to kick Gunther's ass at the Royal Rumble. So Pearce makes the match official. So we have now AJ Styles versus Gunther at the Royal Rumble. And I believe that means Gunther is going to be pulling double duty because he also declared for the Rumble match. So, again, we mentioned this a moment ago, rumors that this may actually be AJ's last match. I don't think so. I'm going to vote against that. But who's to say? Maybe the crystal ball will tell us here in a couple of weeks what's going to happen there.
This is looking more and more like that picture I sent you once of Gunther going through like a Mortal Kombat tower, starting with Goldberg and then John
Yes.
Cena, and now AJ Styles, until he works his way up to Brock Lesnar.
I think the last one was actually Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
Because remember, I was like, no, have him swap Nikki with AJ. All right, then. Backstage, Kairi tells Asuka she will make sure she wins the Royal Rumble. It was more drawn out than that. They probably said some other stuff, but the big takeaway was Kairi is...
I predict the opposite. I predict the opposite. I think
I
Kairi's
hope
going to
so.
inadvertently throw inadvertently or what's intentionally toss out Asuka.
I hope so, because, weeks and weeks ago, whenever Asuka smacked Kairi backstage, that should have led to the dissension right there, but it just sort of fell flat. They didn't do anything about it. They just kind of ironed over that, so maybe it's not been too long. They can still harken back to that moment, and she can finally get her receipt, hopefully. And now we are at our main event, Slick Vic, for the World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk, the champion, versus Finn Balor, the hometown hero. And Balor comes out to his badass OG entrance theme.
Yes.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret here, Slick Vic. The last time that I was actually going to the gym regularly, which was around the time that Goldberg came back, so years ago, but it was around the time that Goldberg came back. He was doing the WWE 2K thing, but then they actually talked him into having the match against Lesnar, right? And that's when he beat Lesnar in 90 seconds or whatever it was. I had a playlist on my phone of stuff I would listen to while I was working out, and that theme was one of them that I would listen to a lot because it's that good. It's that badass. It gets me so pumped. It's fantastic. It's one of the best wrestling themes ever.
I agree. It's a fantastic song. There's a power metal band called Camelot. I am going to send you one of their tracks later because it's that's very reminiscent of Finn Balor's theme, in my opinion.
All right, sweet. So as far as the match goes, I thought it was a hell of a match. We got some good back and forth for the first several minutes. And, of course, the crowd was heavily in Balor's favor, but not so much that they were outright booing Punk. So there was still some respect for Punk there from this Ireland crowd. Punk catches Balor on the top turnbuckle and hits a nice superplex at one point, but Balor counters into a cradle pin and gets a 2 count. Balor hits the drop kick into the corner, setting Punk up for the coup de grace, but Punk rolls out of the way, hits a GTS on Balor, who kicks it too, and the crowd goes wild. Balor then hit another drop kick and actually landed the coup de grace this time, but only gets a 2 count. Crowd was white hot through this entire sequence, and of course I'm skimming over a lot here. I mean, there was a lot of wrestling going on. Before I continue, I will say, go watch this match. This was a fantastic match, but I'm summarizing for purposes of the show here. Got the 2 count out of the coup de grace. Then there was some odd grappling that happened. There were some counters, and it was like he was trying to do something, and then there was trying to do something else. And then anyway, it led to a second GTS on Balor, and that led to CM Punk getting the win. After the match, we get a nice show of respect between Balor and Punk. And personally, I hope this means that Balor's Judgment Day exit is imminent, because I really enjoyed seeing top-tier main event Balor here again. This match, seeing him come out with his OG music, seeing what he's capable of in the ring, we've not seen this in so long because he's been tied to the Judgment Day. And it's unfortunate that it took this long to get back to seeing how much of a main event talent Finn Balor really is. I want to see more of that. So I think he needs to go it alone. I want to see the Demon come back. I want to see all of it. I'm a big Finn Balor fan. And I forgot that I was a big Finn Balor fan until this match. But it reminded me of it. Very, very, very good match. Slick Vic, what did you think?
Not an all-time classic, but a damn good back-and-forth match.
Way to just shit on my party there, Slick Vic. I'm putting the match over. He comes in. It wasn't that great. But God damn it.
Look, if this was, if Godfather's an all-time classic, this was Godfather 2.
Well, I love Godfather 2, okay? At least it wasn't 3.
So was CM Punk versus Finn Balor. It was a damn good match. Okay. So very hot crowd, as you mentioned. It was, and I even have it in my notes too. It was great to hear Balor's classic theme, unlike that garbage music he's been coming out to lately. Babyface Finn Balor was sorely missed. It was nice seeing him hit his more crowd-pleasing offense, like the dive off the top, the Pele kick. And you know, I'm a Punk fan, but I loved hearing the crowd boo Punk's offense. And those two shotgun drop kicks he hit into the coup de grace, I was like, oh.
You thought it was happening.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But Punk brought his A game too. This wasn't all just Balor. Punk looked really good here too. And I knew Balor wasn't going to lose, or I knew Punk wasn't going to lose, but they still did a good job with him. And, you know, those hope spots really got me going, as I mentioned. So great match. Definitely worth checking out. The best match on both shows was CM Punk versus Finn Balor in the main event of Raw.
Yeah, might be going on my list of possible top 5 for 2026. Definitely will be a contender. And like I say, I mean, go watch this match. It was really solid. If you didn't catch Raw, if you didn't, you know, we've gave it all to you here. Go check this match out. It was good stuff. I had something else to say, but then I forgot about it, Slick Vic. You screwed me up, Slick Vic. No, it wasn't your fault. It was my fault. But that was Monday Night Raw, ladies and gentlemen. Decent show. Great main event. Great match for the world title. I remember what I was going to say. I still maintain that CM Punk stays champion until Seth Rollins comes back. So I did not think that Balor was going to win this match, but I really feel like they did it so right. They did the right. This match was perfect for the fact that Balor was in his hometown. They're rarely ever in Ireland, so here they are. And of course, everybody wants to see him win. He ain't gonna win, but they did the next best thing to him winning. He got over. He got over again from the last time that he was. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You put it good, Slick Vic. Babyface Balor was sorely missed, and this reminded us of that. So that's Monday Night Raw. Ladies and gentlemen, we still got a couple of segments to go here. Obviously, the retro review, the Royal Rumble of 1998 and Slick Vic's picks. But before we move on to that, I say we take a pause for the cause. What do you say, Vic?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll be right back in just a few moments. And we're back from that brief commercial break. As always, back here on Wrestling with Power. We have a couple more things to cover. The Royal Rumble from 1998, our retro review of the night, and I cannot wait to talk about that. And also Slick Vic's picks for Saturday night's main event tomorrow. Can't wait to lock those in. Before we do that, it looks like Vic has brought a little buddy with him over there. And we are going to go back to your gimmick today, Slick Vic. What do you got for us there, man?
Well, he talks. Would you like to hear him speak?
Yes.
I don't know if it'll, sound good in these mics, but here it is.
I got the dog too. That's his favorite bone. It's in my arm. Well, last night 4 times he went in the paper. 3 times I was reading it.
Oh, his head moves too. His head moves side to side. His mouth doesn't move, but his head does.
His mouth used to move.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, it's Rodney Dangerfield. It's probably the biggest gimmick. He's definitely. He's side by side. He is bigger than Godzilla.
We need a picture of that, Slick Vic. Don't forget to send me. You did not send me a picture of last week's gimmick. We need a picture of this to put up for the socials. Right now, go ahead and there we go. No respect for the gimmicks. All right, you got to give us the backstory here, Slick Vic. Where did you get that gimmick?
I actually bought this at like a pawn shop, I wouldn't say a pawn shop, but it's like one of those places that sold like, you can buy like used DVDs, used video games, used computers.
Yeah, like a thrift store, kind of.
Yeah, but like specifically for electronics.
Okay.
And I was walking around checking out the retro video games, checking out the DVDs. And what do I see in the corner of my eye? This giant Rodney Dangerfield talking
puppet?
Puppet, I guess you can call me. I mean, he did come with a button that, that you can use to have him talk on command. I have unfortunately lost the button, but there's the button down here that causes him to talk as well. Yeah. Do you have any? Is there any Rodney Dangerfield movies that come to mind? Do you have a favorite?
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack is an all-time classic. I like that one, and I also like Back to School.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I've seen some more of like his stand-up, which was always hilarious.
Yeah.
But the only movie that I can think of is Caddyshack. But that's awesome, man.
He goes up to that he goes to the store and he's buying stuff and he sees like this ugly hat. He's like, "This is the worst looking hat I ever saw. You buy a hat like this, I bet you get a free bowl of soup." And the villain of the movie's wearing that same hat. Oh, it looks good on you though.
Yeah. I just thought of another one. Little Nicky.
Oh yeah.
He was in Little Nicky. Yeah. He was like Satan's dad or something.
Yeah. He was in a movie from the mid-90s called Natural Born Killers. It's with Woody Harrelson and God, I forgot the girl's name now, but he actually played a dark character. Like he was like a abusive father type character. Really? And it was And if you ever seen that movie, it's very nuts. It's like the whole movie is like a acid trip. Natural Born Killers. Yeah.
Are we talking like Fear and Loathing top movie? Yeah. Acid trip? Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. Yeah, I'll put that on the list.
It's almost like a music video too. Like, kind of like Fear and Loathing is a good comparison.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah. So, shall we talk about Royal Rumble from 1998?
Yeah, he was Satan in Little Nicky. Okay, I thought he was Satan's father. Wasn't Satan the devil? Oh, Lucifer. Okay, so Lucifer was the devil. He was Satan. All right.
Was that Harvey Keitel's role?
Yeah,
Okay.
we got some corrections here. All right. Yeah, let's talk about some Royal Rumble 1998. This is our retro review of the Royal Rumble from 1998, right at the onset of the Attitude Era, if you will. I think the Attitude Era started really in '97, kind of, but like this is we're pedal to the metal here. All right, so Royal Rumble 1998. Slick Vic, I think maybe you have the first match of this event.
I do. I'd
right.
also like to quickly talk about the opening package with the narration. Loved
Yes.
it. Very
Go ahead.
90s movie trailer-esque. Good stuff. And I love how the guy was like, he was going through all these wrestlers and he's like, one man will even trade himself for 3 gimmicks or something. He was referencing Mick Foley. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was good. But this night is all about Stone Cold Steve Austin. As soon as Jim Ross talks, the first thing he said was, Stone Cold's a marked man tonight.
Yeah.
So
Why was he a marked man exactly? Do you have the backstory of that, Slick Vic? I couldn't figure it out. I mean,
if my memory serves me correctly, he was just on a tear, just beating up wrestlers left and right, like jumping them because, he wanted to win the Rumble.
okay. So everybody was trying to beat him because I guess he was the pick. He was the guy who was going to win it, so they were trying to take him out.
Yeah, because the following year, Vince McMahon put a bounty on Stone Cold Steve Austin, so he's a marked man 2
okay.
years in a row. But
All
this
right.
year, I just remember him just being a menace backstage.
Yeah, okay. All right.
All right. So the first match is Goldust, or the artist formerly known as Goldust, versus
There you go.
Vader. This was not a high point in Dustin's run as Goldust, if you ask me. He's wearing something outlandish every week, and he's got a long striped singlet with a tiny thong over it. The crowd pops for Vader, and that had me think. I'm like, is Vader actually a babyface at this time of his run? And sure enough, he is. And Vader beats on Goldust. Vader gets some offense. Goldust gets some offense. Dustin does a great sell for Vader's clothesline. Vader hits his trademark stiff shots. Goldust does the 10 punches in the corner, followed by the...
Yeah.
Then the match ends with Vader hitting a Vader bomb with Luna Vachon on his back. And she is trying to stop him, but ended up adding more impact onto Goldust, which admittedly looked pretty good. But the match is not that great. Nothing to write home about. Actually, very, very skippable. And Luna looked like she face planted on the way down too. She slipped off Vader's sweaty carcass. Not carcass, but his sweaty body, because Vader's not dead in that match. She slid over him. And,
She totally pile drove herself into the mat. It looked pretty rough.
Yeah. And that's the first match. That was our opening match of Royal Rumble 90. I don't know if you have any thoughts, or you just want to go right into the next match, but there you go.
Well, this was first of all, Goldust is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Dustin Rhodes, Dustin Runnels, whatever you want to call him, obviously. He's one of the best wrestlers ever, but I loved the Goldust gimmick. And this, the Goldust gimmick in and of itself was wild for its time. But this was taking it a step further, where he lost his mind. He had broke up with Terry, aka Marlena, recently. They were a real life couple, but on screen they had kind of played into the couple thing as well. And he had dumped her on live television and pretty much lost his mind. So he started going as the artist formerly known as Goldust, and instead of wearing his traditional gold and black, he would come out in these crazy outfits. And this was one of them. And, as far as it being a match that you have to see, I'm not sure that's it. But if you want to see sort of this crazy, weird version of Goldust that has Luna Vachon as his valet or manager or whatever you want to call it, sure. Yeah, it was interesting to watch. Um, it. I liked it. I thought it was, in the spot at the end, like we said, with Luna face planting on the mat. That was hilarious. Loved that. So I thought I liked it. I liked it. But I'm a Goldust fan. So
I want to say that I too am a Goldust fan, as N. Dustin Rhodes. I think he's a tremendous performer. And Luna, I like me some Luna, man. She was so ahead of her time. If she was, 10 or 15 years later, she would have done really well. She was metal as fuck. You kidding me? I loved Luna.
She was metal as fuck. She was, and this was a time that was even before the Divas era, right? So, there was literally...
This was just Sable and Sunny.
It was the most down period of time in, women's wrestling, at least as far as the WWF goes. And... yeah, she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, but she could have been big a few years, like you said, 10, 15, maybe even 20 years later, maybe even now. Think about if Luna was there now, she'd be wrecking everybody. So, but yeah, Luna, I think Luna is a second generation superstar, maybe a third. I know Mad Dog Vachon. I don't know if that's her father or her grandfather. I'm not sure. I'm not that.
I believe that. I'm not sure if it's her father or uncle, but I know they're part of the.
Okay.
She comes from a wrestling family.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like Dustin.
What a woman. What a woman. All right, so let's move on to the next match. This was a 6-man tag team match involving 6 mini superstars. All right, we got on one side Battalion. I don't know how you're supposed to say that in Spanish. They're all kind of like lucha wrestlers. Tarantula and El Torito versus Max Mini, Nova, and Mosaic, with special guest referee Sonny. All right, so this match was a lot of little people at 150 miles an hour. I think El Torito was the biggest guy there, and he was every bit of 4 foot tall, but he towered over everybody, and he ragdolled all of the other mini superstars. But it was a lucha libre spot fest for the most part. Max Mini ends up picking up the win for his team by hitting a head scissors takeover into a cradle pin on El Torito. So El Torito was running through everybody, but Max Mini, literally the littlest guy there, ends up winning by beating the biggest little superstar there. And there was a spot in the match that was pretty interesting when Sable picked up Max Mini and started kicking some of the other wrestlers and running around with him. So that was interesting. But I mean, this was just it was weird that it was on the card. I don't know if this was around the time that they were still kind of pushing the little superstars or what have you. I know that they used to have matches back in the 50s and the early days where that was a big thing, but I'm struggling here, Vic. That's about that's about the extent of it, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of little people, and Sonny. And that was it. Max Mini, Nova, and Mosaic pick up the win. Moving on from this, I have some notes on a backstage segment. NOD, the Nation of Domination, they break into Stone Cold's locker room to kick his ass and only find a foam middle finger sitting on a chair. That was good. That was good stuff. All right, and then we have the WWF Intercontinental Championship on the line in the next match. And interestingly enough, this was sort of in the period of time. The Nation of Domination was this group of guys who I don't know how to explain them necessarily. They were all black, and they were sort of like fight the power type of group of, guys.
Yeah, I'd say
And
militant black faction.
yeah, there you go. And so The Rock had, young up and comer when The Rock first debuted, Rocky Maivia. He was trying to be a babyface. People hated him. People shit all over him. Eventually, he made his way into the nation, started playing into his more heelish side, and then from that, there's dissension because Farouk is the leader of the nation, but Rock is trying to be the leader, essentially, trying to be the big prominent figure here. So this is kind of during that era of time. But this specific match, WWF Intercontinental Championship, The Rock is the Intercontinental Champion. He's going to take on Ken Shamrock in this bout. All right, so for the match, they spend the first few minutes doing basically nothing. Seems like it takes forever for them to finally get to some action in the ring, at which point it's all Rock for several minutes. Shamrock hits a nice perfect plex that isn't properly called a perfect plex, but he only gets a 2 count out of it.
Did you say perfect?
I said perfect, and you know what, Slick Vic? I knew you would like that. I knew you would like the perfect plex line. And I'm going to give you a little bit of this if I can get around to it. By the way, the perfect plex, I've realized something, Slick Vic. A fisherman suplex is not a perfect plex unless they pin them on impact. It has to be a pinning deal. But this was, and they did not call it a perfect plex. Why, I don't know. Anyway, Rock gets some more offense.
Good observation.
Yeah.
Good observation there.
Rock gets some more offense in, then Shamrock starts to come back, and then here comes the Nation of Domination. Shamrock catches him on the apron and knocks him down. Rock uses brass knuckles on Shamrock, then stuffs them in Ken Shamrock's tights, but only gets a 2 count after hitting him with the brass knucks. Shamrock hits his suplex finisher. It's like a belly-to-belly suplex is really basically all it is. And pins Rock for a 3 count, but The Rock tells the ref to check Shamrock's tights where he finds the brass knucks The Rock stashed there. The decision is reversed. Shamrock is disqualified, and Rock is given the title back. Now the best part of this whole thing happens. Shamrock snaps and suplexes referee Mike Chioda, then puts the ankle lock on him. And that's pretty much it. There's several referees that try to come out and stop him, but they all run away because they're scared of Ken Shamrock. I liked this match a lot at the end. At the first few, 5 to 6 to 7 minutes of it were kind of boring. They literally were just kind of standing there and kind of filling each other out, which, this isn't like a Hulk Hogan versus Rock at WrestleMania deal where they can just stand there and the crowd's going crazy. The crowd was dead silent because they were just standing there not doing anything. And then it's, The Rock's pretty much on offense for most of the match. But stuffing the brass knucks in his tights, I thought that was a great move. I thought that was genius. Something you don't see anymore, for sure. How'd you feel about this match, Slick Vic?
I thought the match itself was so-so. I agree with you. The beginning was just a lot of showboating and lengthy feeling out process. Heel Rock's selling is so over the top. It's funny. Shamrock hits a perfect plex. I wrote that down as well.
Yeah.
And I thought the ending is hilarious. The Rock punches him with the brass knucks and shoves the knucks into Shamrock's tights. And then when he loses the match, he's like, "Go check his tights. Go check his tights."
Yeah.
And the ref like prods at Shamrock's the
ref looked like he literally grabbed him by the package and was like, "Hey, what's that?"
And then Shamrock pulls it out. He's like in disbelief that there's brass knucks in his tights.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. I was chuckling.
Oh man, good stuff.
All right.
Well, we're on to the next match there, Slick Vic. Why don't you bring us that next match?
I neglected to say one thing about that minis match.
Oh, did I not get your thoughts on the minis match? I'm sorry.
It's okay. I got one thing I wanted to say. It's like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of arm drag variations. Everyone's hitting a million arm drags, and every time everyone hits one, it's like they do a taunt. And it reminded me of when you play No Mercy, for the N64, great wrestling game. When you hit a move
yeah.
and your opponent stays down long enough, you move the joystick so your opponent does a taunt to build up your spirit meter.
Yeah.
And I felt like every time these guys hit an arm drag, somebody like moved the joystick and they were like doing their taunt.
They were trying to get to their special quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I had to say about the minis match. But then
Nice.
the next thing we have is the video package for LOD is both nice to see their history, but there's this extended sequence of them getting beat up by DX and the Outlaws to really sad music. And I'm like, this is long and very melodramatic, and I'm like, man.
Yeah, but it was so good, though. It was so cheesy that it was good.
I mean, I don't know, man. It was like, I don't want to see that. I don't know. I have happy memories of the Road Warriors. I don't want to think of them getting beat up, and Hawk getting one, and Hawk getting one of his double mohawk shaved off.
Yeah, and he kept it, during the match. He didn't even shave the other one off.
No, like he's like, okay, it's a couple weeks later, he still has just one mohawk, and the other one's still freshly shaved.
Yeah.
Anyways, Animal says that what did he say?
Now we're talking about the backstage promo now.
Yeah, the promo. Animal says
ineligible backstage promo or inaudible backstage promo.
Well, Animal says there wasn't a chance he was going to miss this match because the doctors don't know what they're talking about. And Hawk, with half his double mohawk, says the Outlaws think they're as cool as the other side of the pillow, but we're going to put them on ice. What a rush. I don't care if my impression of Hawk is the shits. I grew up a huge LOD fan.
That was a good one, actually. That was a really good one. I want to put over their music as well. Their music is fantastic.
Next line of my notes, man. LOD's entrance theme is forever badass. That's big boss class.
Yeah.
The match itself, it's okay. It's I wrote down mediocre or mid, as the kids say. The Road Warriors hit some power moves with the Outlaws backing off for most of the match, but the ending sequence, Hawk gets handcuffed to the end to a turnbuckle outside the ring, and the ref just ignores it. Okay.
Yeah. What was that?
But then, it looks like Animals is still able to fend off both of them until Road Dogg hits him with a chair, causing disqualification. And they start beating on Animal. And then Hawk breaks out of the cuffs himself, which I thought was kind of cool. And, and he basically saves Animal, and that's the end of the match. How was the LOD and Nation New Age Outlaws to you? Because these are two all-time legendary classic tag teams. How did you feel about this encounter?
I mean, I felt like, you mentioned how you're a big fan of the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, and they are a legendary tag. They're probably the best tag team ever. I wouldn't even compare them to the New Age Outlaws, really. I mean, the New Age Outlaws, classic tag team. I don't know if I'd say legendary. Legion of Doom is legendary. And I felt like they didn't really get their proper props here. I don't know. It was weird. It was like they were selling out in a way. I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, Slick Vic. I felt like they were just collecting a check.
At this point, unfortunately, they were kind of past their prime.
Yeah.
And, they still looked great. They still performed great, but You know, I think
It was a
the
clash
you
of
know
eras in a lot of
yes,
ways.
that's I was looking for the right words to say that, because they're still coming out there, with face paint, yelling at the camera like it's the late '80s.
Yeah, and
But
like
you
a
know,
body slam is gonna kill you, but it's not
yeah,
that era anymore where a body slam is gonna do that kind of damage. Or people have been conditioned to believe that. So yeah, it's I don't know. It wasn't like watching classic Road Warrior match. Really, it
yeah,
was I don't know, a little bit disheartening for me.
yeah, not a pleasant watch.
Right, right.
Except the ending. Except the ending. Him Hawk breaking the
Yeah,
handcuff was cool.
yeah, of course, yeah. All right, so then we're on to the Royal Rumble match, and not the main event of the night because the main event is for the WWF Championship. So next is the Royal Rumble match. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do this, Slick Vic. I have a lot of notes for the Royal Rumble match. I know you have quite a bit of notes for the Royal Rumble match as well. How should we
I got a few
proceed?
I got a few bullet points. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me start, and then you can jump in with whatever you got. Feel free to
Okay.
go back. If I skip ahead in something you want to cover from previous, go ahead and let it out. All right. So it's great having Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie started. By the way, number one, Cactus Jack. Number two, Chainsaw Charlie, aka Terry Funk.
Yes.
And they immediately start with the chairs. And I think it was Jim Ross or Jerry Lawler said Funk's gene pool could use some more chlorine.
Probably
And then
Jerry Lawler.
Then number three is Tom Brandy, LOL. And he gets dumped out in 12 seconds. I counted.
Immediately. Yeah. Okay, good job.
And then number four is The Rock. And the next several entrants are low or mid card guys until number 8, which is Owen Hart, who unfortunately gets jumped by Jeff Jarrett and Cornette. So that's our first 8 competitors. Any notes or comments
Yeah.
for that?
Well, I thought it was great having Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie out first and second because they relive some of their history here. They actually take a chair and take turns letting the other person hit them in the head, like free open shots to the head. So it was great seeing that. Tom Brandy, as you mentioned, third in, gets eliminated almost immediately. Rock enters at number 4. The mid-carders that you mentioned that entered were Mosh, Phineas Godwin, who would later become known as Midian, and 8-Ball. After that, Cactus Jack actually got eliminated by Chainsaw Charlie. Then we see Blackjack Bradshaw, a.k.a., well, Bradshaw.
JBL.
And then, yeah, JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. And then the Owen Hart spot with Jeff Jarrett attacking him on the ramp with Jim Cornette by his side. And as a matter of fact, oh God, I can't reach. Jim Cornette with his tennis racket here, as you can see. Yeah, there we go.
Very, very nice.
So yeah,
My wife asked me while we were watching this match, why does Jim Cornette carry a tennis racket? And I believe it had something to do with him watching was it Revenge of the Nerds or something? And like the preppy heel character had a tennis racket. Do you remember the origins of Jim Cornette's tennis racket?
I don't, man. I probably should know that, but I have no idea. I just know he used to hit people with it.
Right.
It was like his weapon, but I don't know why it was a tennis racket.
Continue.
Oh, okay. I'll continue then. So we get the Owen Hart spot. After that, Steve Blackman, D'Lo Brown, and Kurgan enters. Kurgan eliminates Mosh. Then Mark Marrow enters. Kurgan eliminates Steve Blackman. Ken Shamrock enters and is helped by like 6 other guys to eliminate Kurgan. When Kurgan came out, I thought, well, this is going to be the ring clearing sequence, because we always get that for the Royal Rumble. Some big guy comes out and throws out like 8 people, but didn't really happen. Thrasher comes out next, and then Mankind enters. and eliminates Chainsaw Charlie. So we already saw Mick Foley enter at number 1 as Cactus Jack. Now he's pulling the Persona card, the split personality card. He went back, he got dressed up as Mankind, bought himself another entry into the Rumble. And
Can I interject?
yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
So, yeah, Mankind coming in and eliminating Chainsaw Charlie was great stuff. He got even for Cactus Jack.
Yeah, there you go.
Kurgan playing the part of the giant who eliminates a few and then has to have a bunch of wrestlers eliminate him was not as effective as other giants in the past, but Kurgan's all right. And then when Mark Merrow came out, he got the second largest pop of the night.
Because?
Sable.
Exactly. Mark Merrow was never over. Sable was over.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, Slick Vic.
Yeah.
When Kurgan came out, I saw him in a different light whenever he came out, and I was watching this with a new set of eyes. Was Kurgan not that big monster in the movie 300? Was he the guy that played him? All right, he looked. Yeah, I knew. All right, there you go.
Yeah. He was also in one of those Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies. I believe there's a scene where Robert Downey Jr. has like a bare knuckle fight with somebody, and I believe it's against Kurgan. I don't know if you ever saw those Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey.
No.
Okay. Well, moving on then.
Moving on.
But he was in 300. Yes, that was the Kurgan.
Cool.
The Kurgan.
The Kurgan. On to the next one, Slick Vic. Take it away.
All right. So I got notes here saying poor Owen. First, he gets jumped by Jarrett. And then later on, when he gets into the ring, Triple H and Chyna come in and eliminate him. Ahmed Johnson comes out wearing earrings, which pisses off JR in commentary, which is hilarious. And he calls him the Big Johnson.
Yeah.
And then Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out, which is great. He comes out of the crowd, which is great because everyone stops and starts staring, and they all want to get the jump on him, but he gets the jump on at least Mark Merrow and tosses him out with ease. And go ahead and fill in some of the gaps between Owen Hart and Steve Austin's entrance.
All right. Well, just before Owen Hart actually came out, Goldust entered. The artist formerly known as Goldust, who we talked about, he had a match earlier, first match of the night with Vader. He came out this time in a completely different outfit and a completely different hair color. And I loved that. I loved how he came out in completely different attire for this match. And he actually eliminated Mankind. Then we get to the Owen Hart spot. So it was actually Jeff Jarrett, accompanied by Jim Cornette, who entered into the Rumble, but running in not far behind was Owen Hart, eliminates Jarrett, Honky Tonk Man next. Then you get the crutch spot with Triple H and Chyna that you mentioned. They eliminate Owen Hart. Rock hits Shamrock with a low blow and eliminates Ken Shamrock. Ahmed Johnson, that's where we left off. Ahmed Johnson entered, you mentioned the earrings. Man, what was wrong with Ahmed Johnson here? Did he not look like fat and just slow, and what was going on with him at this time?
Yeah, he wasn't the same Ahmed Johnson in 1996. I'll tell you that much. In
For
the 2
sure.
years, in the 2 years that happened, in the 2-year interim, I think he got hurt like 4 times too, and he also
really?
hurt like four other people as well.
You could tell something was not right with Ahmed here. It wasn't. You could tell it wasn't the same cat.
No.
So I think his time in WWF was passe and probably very limited after this event. I don't know how long he lasted after this, but I can't imagine that he did much more.
I don't recall. I just remember him showing up one day in WCW as Big T.
Well, that's all you, because I wasn't watching WCW at the time. I didn't even know he was in WCW.
Don't worry, you didn't miss anything.
All right. Shall I continue, or would you like to continue, Slick Vic?
You can continue. I've only got closing statements in my notes,
right.
but go ahead.
So you made it to Stone Cold. There was actually before the Stone Cold thing, Mark Henry came out. The clock also counted down to the 22nd entrant, but no one came out. And I don't think it was ever explained during this event who was 22 supposed to be. I know the announcer said, was that supposed to be Stone Cold? No, it wasn't supposed to be Stone Cold. In fact, it was supposed to be Skull, the tag team partner of 8 Ball. Earlier in the night, Savio Vega and his goons, there was a backstage spot where they went into the locker room thinking they were beating up Stone Cold. They were actually beating up Skull. And that's why. I don't know when it was explained after this. I just know it wasn't explained during the event. But that was Skull's spot, number 22. And then, let's see, Kama enters. Stone Cold's music hits. He hits the ring from behind, eliminates Mark Marrow and 8 Ball, Henry Godwin, Savio Vega, Farouk enter. And then Dude Love enters. So, we get Mick Foley again for the 3rd time in probably one of the best Royal Rumble moments, collections of moments ever. Mick Foley uses all 3 of his personas, well, other than Mick Foley itself, to get another bye into the Royal Rumble. He gets an elimination. I don't remember who he eliminated. But then we have Chains come out. And then number 30 is Vader. So throughout a lot of this, the ring is pretty full of people up until Vader enters. After Vader comes out, the ring starts to get cleared fairly quickly. And eventually we're left with The Rock and Stone Cold. The Rock throws Austin over the top rope, thinks he's eliminated him, but Austin holds on. Rock turns around. Austin hits a stunner. Rock pops back up. Austin tosses him out and wins the Royal Rumble. So, your winner for the 1998 Royal Rumble, Stone Cold Steve Austin. My favorite part of this Rumble was Mick Foley getting 3 entries thanks to his various personas. As I've already mentioned, I think it was genius. It's one of the best things to happen in Rumble history. It's timeless. Also, Slick Vic, the end of the match. I'm not sure if this hit you like it did me. Maybe you can go back and watch it and tell me if I'm wrong here. But the end of the match, as Stone Cold poses and the camera gets several shots of the crowd, you see all these Stone Cold Steve Austin signs, all these Stone Cold shirts. That was in itself, that shot, that few seconds of time was a moment. That exemplified the Attitude Era. It was fantastic. His little victory pose and the camera angles and everything. I loved that. And that's one of my biggest takeaways from this entire show. That shot of Austin winning the Rumble. Your thoughts, Vic?
Did we mention Mike Tyson at all tonight?
We haven't, no.
You know, because his man Cold Stone won the match.
Cold Stone Creamery. Yeah, so Mike Tyson was in attendance, and there were several shots of him up in the stands watching the show. And, of course, after the Rumble match, he gets interviewed by Michael Cole. And he mistakenly refers to Steve Austin as Cold Stone, my man Cold Stone. He also says that Shawn Michaels, a young up-and-comer, a young hungry lion.
He's the world champion. He's the young up-and-comer.
Shawn Michaels is the world champion. He's probably been wrestling for 10 or 15 years at this point. And then after it cuts from that, I don't know if you noticed this, Slick Vic, but like after it cuts from the Mike Tyson interview, it immediately goes to Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler at the announce table, and Jerry Lawler's just going.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah. So when Jerry Lawler finally gets to talk, he sort of sells it as, oh, there were so many people who could have eliminated Stone Cold in this Rumble, and they all failed. But, like, I took it as, he's like, God damn, what the fuck is Mike Tyson doing? He's such an idiot. It's just, if you go back and watch it, check out those few moments. The end of the Rumble match, then Tyson promo, and then, of course, Jerry Lawler's reaction. So what did you think about it? I mean, what did you think about the Rumble match in general?
Well, this is without a doubt the most predictable Royal Rumble of all time.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, because if Stone Cold didn't win, I think the crowd would have rioted. because he was the most popular thing in all of wrestling at the time.
Who else
So,
was in the Rumble that could have won? Well, maybe The Rock, but I mean, not really. I mean,
that's also another. That's one of the criticisms I have is like The Rock, Stone Cold, and Mick Foley are like literally the only main eventers / big stars in this match, because The Rock was not yet main event level. Mick Foley himself was not even quite main event level at this point. And Stone Cold was on his way to main event level.
yeah.
You know, and I felt like 90% of the entrances were heels. If you go back and look at the entrance list, I'm like, come on, like how many of these people were heels? Like, can you count more than 10 baby faces in this match?
No, probably not. No,
And
definitely not.
I didn't catch this. And my wife pointed this out, and I'm like, this is definitely a product of its era, where everyone's wearing black.
Yeah.
Like 99, I wrote down 95% of the entrances are wearing black, or black with some other trim. But it was the late 90s. Everyone was alternative and wearing black.
Hell yeah, better times.
Yeah. So, this is going to go down to me as two things: the three faces of Foley and Austin winning, because there was no other choice, and he was the most popular person at the time, so it was the most predictable Royal Rumble of all time.
Yeah, and they sold it all night. Everybody's after Austin. They're all trying to beat up Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, this entire night is built around Austin, and like I said, not with good cause, because he was so damn hot.
Yeah. Speaking of Austin, there's something that I didn't note, but I thought it was interesting. They gave away Austin's truck that he drove up in that night, which harkened back to Halloween Havoc 1996, where they gave away a truck on that event. And the lady that won the truck, it was this old woman. She actually won it. Like, it was pretty easy to find. I couldn't find who won the Halloween Havoc truck, but like the Austin truck, I found that pretty quickly. So that was a legit thing.
Okay.
Are you ready for the main event, Slick Vic?
I am.
All right. So the main event of this evening was for the WWF Championship, and it was a casket match between the champion, Shawn Michaels, and the challenger, The Undertaker. And before I mentioned, the Royal Rumble was not the main event of this show. Obviously, they wanted the big title to go on last, which is fine. But I also understood it whenever these two came out. They got massive, massive crowd reaction, especially The Undertaker. Huge pop. This was also after the infamous first Hell in a Cell match, which Michaels won thanks to Kane debuting. So we get to the match, and right off the bat, HBK gets a lot of jabs in, does well avoiding Taker's offense. HBK hits the ropes, but gets backdropped out of the ring by Undertaker, which is where Michaels lands back first on the edge of the casket, leading to his back injury, his infamous back injury that he got from that match. And if you watch it back, it doesn't look like much. It looks like he may have grazed it a little bit, but apparently that did some damage. You couldn't tell for the rest of the match. I mean, he took several body slams, several more bumps on his flat back bumps, and he didn't really look like he was in pain. He might have had a few libations before the match or whatever he had, but that was where the infamous back injury happened, apparently. Taker eventually gets Shawn Michaels in the casket and almost closes the lid. But HBK comes back out and hits Taker in the face with a handful of white powder, a.k.a. cocaine. The two go back and forth for a bit, fighting outside of the ring, where HBK hits a pile driver on Taker into the steel ring steps. That was a rough one. It looked like he was about to drop him, and finally he just goes and does it. Trips gets involved and attacks Taker with his crutch. HBK makes a failed attempt to put Undertaker in the casket. Then we get some more back and forth in the ring. HBK puts Taker in the casket again and stands above him and gives him a crotch chop. But Taker revives and grabs Michaels right by the family jewels. More back and forth again. Taker gets knocked into the casket and HBK hits an elbow drop on him inside the casket. So from the top turnbuckle all the way down inside the casket. Both men end up getting out and back into the ring. Taker hits a choke slam on HBK, then tombstones him on the apron into the casket. From the apron into the casket. Let me reiterate. Undertaker picks up Michaels. They're standing on the apron. He jumps off the apron and tombstones him into the casket. All
Awesome.
right.
Awesome.
Better visual there. Multiple men show up and start beating down the Undertaker. Then the lights go out and Kane comes out, supposedly to help his brother. And this is sort of a thing. They had shown a video package earlier in the night. Of course, I mentioned Kane debuted in the Hell in a Cell match. He cost Undertaker the Hell in a Cell match by tombstoning him, allowing Shawn Michaels to pin him for the win. But then after that, Kane saved the Undertaker. There was a moment they showed, like I said, a video package. Kane saved the Undertaker, gave him the hand gesture, whatever it was. So like they were together. So when Kane comes out now, it's like, oh, Kane's coming out to save the Undertaker, and it seems like he was doing that because all the guys that were in the ring beating up the Undertaker, Kane kicked all of their asses. But then, meanwhile, while this is going on, Triple H and Chyna, they dig HBK out of the casket, and then once the ring is cleared, Kane attacks the Undertaker, chokeslams him into the casket, and shuts the lid. Then Paul Bearer shows up, and Kane and Paul Bearer padlock the casket, roll it to the top of the stage. Kane takes out an axe, chops the top of the casket with an axe. He chops like a hole in it. Then he pours gasoline all over it, lights it on fire, and that's the end of the show. So, let me just say that I loved this version of Kane. Back in the day, Kane was my favorite wrestler during this Attitude Era, during this era that got me into wrestling, and it was must-see TV, and I had to watch it every week. I understand Stone Cold's super over, The Rock up and coming. Everybody loves Stone Cold. I love Stone Cold, but I also loved Kane. He was my favorite wrestler at the time. The match itself was good. It, as expected, with the contestants involved, HBK and Undertaker, you're not going to get a bad match. But the ending with Kane and the continuation of his storyline with The Undertaker during this time, it was the perfect ending, the perfect continuation. Couldn't have been written any better. And that is your 1998 Royal Rumble pay-per-view, Slick Vic. I would love to get your thoughts on this main event and the show as a whole.
Well, I'm going to say I'm not a fan of when they end the Royal Rumble with something not the Royal Rumble match. I always believe the Rumble should go on last. But this was an excellent match. This was a lot of fun. Great stuff. Great stuff. The jumping tombstone spot to the casket was amazing. There was the casket cam. That looked cool. Shawn throwing the white powder into Taker's eyes. Anyways, the pile driver on the steps, like you said, was good. And like the backdrop that Shawn took, it doesn't really look all that devastating. But I remember reading, like, Shawn says, like, the next day he couldn't get out of bed. And I don't know what happened. He probably had to call Triple H to, like, get him out or something. But
yeah. Maybe Sonny.
The spot where, what's it called? Shawn Michaels stands over the casket and does the crotch chop, only for Taker to just reach out and grab him, and just like throw him back into the ring. It's still freaking hilarious. It was funny back in '98. It's funny now.
Yeah.
Oh man, Kane is Jason Voorhees here, isn't he?
I think he based his character around Jason and Michael Myers and Freddy, like all the big horror slasher film villains.
Well, he definitely wasn't cracking one-liners like Freddy, but he was like this unstoppable monster like Jason and Michael.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Like, yeah. And I remember when he attacks the Undertaker, Jim Ross is like, "No, damn it, no!"
Over the top.
Like, damn it, no!
He's got a family.
But the end, man, what a way to go off the air. You got a flaming casket with a guy in a mask going like this to it. And Paul Bear going, oh. So much fun. This was a lot of fun. So I forgive this event for not having the Rumble go on last, because this was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with this main event.
Yeah. It makes you just wish that times were like they used to be, don't it, Slick Vic?
Sometimes.
Oh boy. Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was your 1998 Royal Rumble Retro Review. Hopefully you enjoyed it, Slick Vic. We have one more segment left, and that is your picks for Saturday night's main event taking place tomorrow, January the 24th. Short card here, 3-match card. And you are going to give us your thoughts.
Yep.
So what?
I got three. You want me to take it away, or you want to?
I want you to take it away. Wrestling, take it away.
All right. So, in no particular order, we've got only, like you said, we've only got 3 matches.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start with the main event, which will probably be the Fatal 4-Way match.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. We're doing this all wrong. First of all, where is the crystal ball? And where's the theme music?
Rodney's hiding the crystal ball.
Now we're ready for some Slick Vic's picks. Now I'm in the mood. Let's go.
Such a good beat to just bob your head to.
Yeah, I know. It's good stuff.
All right, the crystal ball. All right, so what do you think about the Fatal 4-Way? Well, we're in Montreal. Sami Zayn's from Montreal. Drew McIntyre needs an opponent. Drew McIntyre told Sami he's 11-0, so don't try to step up to him. I think Sami Zayn is going to win this match. Lock it in. Sami Zayn goes over in the Fatal 4-Way. He goes over Trick Williams, Damian Priest, and Randy Orton.
All right. It's locked in. Fatal 4-Way match to determine the number 1 contender for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. Sami Zayn.
Next, there is for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, we have the defending champs Rio versus the Judgment Day. I am going with Rio.
Oh, to retain.
Yes. They just came out with a t-shirt, and I don't think there are 2 more popular females on the roster than Rhea Ripley and Io Sky.
Be hard argument to have.
Yeah. I mean, that pop for Rhea Ripley is Road Warrior-esque.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Stephanie Vaquer has the most over move in the entire roster.
But she's more than just the Devil's Kiss, Slick Vic. Come on.
Yeah. And then finally, 1-on-1, we have Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. So this is a tough one. This is a tough one, man. You know what I want? What I am predicting, and I don't know if I want to lock this in, because I guess I have to lock something in. What if I predict a double disqualification?
That's fine. That works. Double DQ.
Yeah. Something's gonna happen. It's either gonna be a double DQ, or somehow Cody, manages to get a lucky victory or a tainted victory.
I'm
only allowed to choose I'm only allowed to choose one, huh?
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen tonight's SmackDown. We are coming to you on Friday, obviously. So there may be some things that happened on SmackDown that we're not aware of that may lead to a different opinion of how things are going to go. But hey, Slick Vic, if you're picking double DQ, that's what you're picking. These are your picks, my friend.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Double
All
DQ.
right. All right.
Somebody's getting DQ'd.
Well, but here's the thing: if Cody gets DQ'd, Jacob's the winner. If Jacob gets DQ'd, Cody's the winner. And in either of those two cases, you're not the winner. So you're picking the match gets thrown out.
I can't see past the haze for this match. The crystal ball has got a lot of
smoke, a lot of smoke.
Yeah,
if you will.
It's gimmicked.
Yeah, a lot of.
It needs some of Shawn Michaels' white powder for some fuel.
Well, I hate to tell you, brother, but I think all that's gone. I think all that went straight up the windpipes there. Anyway, we'll lock it in. Slick Vic's picks for Saturday night's main event tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss it. We're getting a. Hold on, Slick Vic. We're getting something from our mutual friend over here. Wikipedia shows a fourth match. Oh. Was a fourth match made tonight on SmackDown that we're not aware of?
Possibly. When I looked it up this morning, there was no fourth match.
Maybe we need to go to the Google.
Okay.
Let me see. We're going to investigate this. Saturday night's main event. That's not the right one. Okay. Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu. Women's tag titles. Fatal 4-Way. That's all I'm seeing on WWE.com. But it could have been updated, I guess.
Let me check Wikipedia. Oh, wow. There is another match added on Saturday night's main event.
Okay, what do we got?
We have...
Oh, AJ Styles and Nakamura?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay. Impromptu pick for this one?
Yeah, I got it right here. It's AJ Styles. Lock it in, AJ Styles. That's it, man. Why would AJ lose 1 week before his match with Gunther?
Because Gunther interferes and causes him to lose?
That's a possibility, but I'm going with AJ Styles.
Okay. It's locked and loaded. All right. So, we have Slick Vic's picks for Saturday night's main event. Impromptu fourth match, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Slick Vic picks AJ Styles. That's a lot. That's a tongue twister. I can't talk correctly. Fatal 4-Way to determine the number one contender for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble to face the champion. Who's the champion again? It's not Cody Rhodes.
Drew McIntyre.
I know before we went on, I was like, not for the title. Wait a second. Cody's not the champion anymore. All right. To face Drew McIntyre for the championship at Royal Rumble, Slick Vic picks Sami Zayn to win. Women's Tag Team Championships, Slick Vic is picking Rhea and Io to retain, and then Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. Double disqualification, a.k.a. the match is thrown out, a.k.a. no winner. That's it. You're locked in, Slick Vic. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the show. That's all we got for you tonight. The gong will see us out. Slick Vic, is there anything you would like to add and or leave the people with today?
Yes. As always, I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
And I want to add, thank you all very much for listening. We have, again, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, we have secured the name on YouTube. So now, you go to youtube.com/ you put the @ Wrestling with Power. That is where you can find us. You can watch the video and audio both together right there. I don't know, that jabroni that we talked about, maybe he tuned into our podcast and he was like, you know what, I better sit this one out. And he might have gave it up, but we got it. youtube.com/ @Wrestling with Power. Search us up on Spotify. Just type in Wrestling with Power. You're going to find us. Episodes going all the way back to the very first. And, of course, right here on Facebook. Facebook.com/ Wrestling with Power, where we are live each and every week. To be determined, we are changing the day of the week. Unfortunately, the Thursdays aren't really working out lately for yours truly. We'll probably be going on Tuesdays from now on. So look for a post here in the next couple of days to confirm whether or not we will be going live this coming Tuesday. But we're going to try. We're going to try to get there for you guys. And as always, stay powerful.